A bag of Lay's has 3 ingredients: potatoes, oil, salt. A can of Pringles has 9: dried potatoes, vegetable oil, corn flour, cornstarch, rice flour, maltodextrin, mono and diglycerides, salt, wheat starch. Same aisle, same shelf, same price. But here's something that might surprise you. Only 42% of that formula is potato. In 1975, the FDA ruled that was not enough to call it a chip. They sell 3 billion cans a year anyway. This is how a powder and a formula become the most precisely engineered snack on Earth, and why 2 countries spent decades arguing over what to call it. Every one of those 3 billion chips has the same shape. One direction curves up like an arch, the other curves down like a valley. Mathematicians call it a hyperbolic paraboloid. It is not decorative. One curve compresses, the other stretches in tension. Where the 2 forces meet, they cancel. That is why a chip thinner than a credit card does not snap when you bite it. Cracks cannot travel in a straight line across a surface curving in 2 directions at once. They scatter. That is the crunch. The same geometry holds up the roof of the London Olympic Velodrome. A shape strong enough to span an arena without a single column is also the reason the last chip in the can survives the weight of every chip above it. That shape exists because of 3 complaints. In 1956, Procter & Gamble handed a chemist named Fredric Baur one job: fix what customers hated about potato chips. They arrive broken, they feel greasy, they go stale. Baur held a PhD in organic chemistry from Ohio State and had served as a Navy aviation physiologist. He spent 2 years on the problem. His answer was not a better chip, it was a different product entirely. Dough instead of sliced potatoes, so no grease soaks through. A saddle curve instead of a random shape, so nothing breaks. A sealed tube instead of a bag, so air never reaches the product. Every piece of the Pringles system traces back to one of those 3 complaints. But Baur had one failure. His chips were structurally perfect and practically flavorless. Here's the thing nobody tells you. It starts not with a potato, but with a powder. Dehydrated potato flakes arrive at the factory already processed. No peeling, no slicing, no whole potato anywhere in this building. Workers mix the flakes with cornstarch, wheat starch, rice flour, maltodextrin, and water. A regular potato chip is 3 ingredients: potatoes, oil, salt. That is it. Pringles is a formula with a ratio. The mixture forms a pale, smooth dough. Rollers press it into an ultra-thin sheet, uniform in thickness, uniform in moisture, uniform in density. Think of it like rolling out cookie dough, except this sheet stretches across a conveyor belt that does not stop. A stamping machine punches oval shapes from the moving sheet. Each oval is identical to the one before it. Then it drops into a mold, and this is where Baur's geometry takes over. The mold is shaped as a hyperbolic paraboloid. It curves each flat oval into the saddle he spent 2 years designing. 3 things happen because of that curve. Stress distributes evenly, so the thin chip resists cracking. The double curvature creates the signature crunch because when you bite, the fracture scatters instead of splitting clean. And every chip nests into the one below it. No sorting, no human hands arranging. The geometry does the stacking. Then the molds close. Metal plates clamp around each chip and drag it through a bath of hot oil at roughly 180 degrees Celsius. The molds open. The chips release, golden, rigid, and dry. The whole frying cycle takes 11 seconds. No chip touches another chip during cooking. No chip bends or warps. Every single one comes out identical. Seasoning falls next. A fine dust of flavoring powder coats each warm chip as it passes beneath the dispensers. The factory runs over 30 varieties for the American market alone. Original, sour cream and onion, barbecue, cheddar, loaded baked potato. Same shape, same crunch, different dust. The chips travel single file toward the canning line, running at over 700 cans per minute. Because every chip is the same width, the same curve, the same weight, they slide into the tubular can without jamming. The can is paperboard with a foil-lined interior and a resealable plastic lid. No grease bleeds through, no air gets in, no chip arrives broken. Broken, greasy, stale. 3 complaints, all 3 answered before the can seals. What started as dry powder is now a sealed, stacked, seasoned product with a shelf life measured in months. From powder to can, no human hand touches a single chip. Here is where the story flips. The chip industry objected. Competitors said Pringles were not chips, made from dough, not sliced potatoes. In 1975, the FDA ruled Pringles could only use the word chip inside the phrase potato chips made from dried potatoes. Procter & Gamble dropped it and rebranded as Crisps. Then, the fight crossed the Atlantic. In Britain, potato snacks pay 17.5% value-added tax. In 2008, Procter & Gamble argued Pringles were not crisps, only 42% potato. Shape not found in nature, they won. A year later, the Court of Appeal reversed it. £100 million owed. Same product. Fought to be a chip in America. Fought not to be one in Britain. Lost both. The court said 42% is enough. Back in Cincinnati, Baur never finished the product alone. His chips had no taste. Procter & Gamble pulled him off. In the mid-1960s, another researcher named Alexander Liepa cracked the seasoning. Liepa's name ended up on the patent. Baur's did not. And the machine that drags molds through hot oil, Wolfe built that. A mechanical engineer on a four-man team. Len Hooper handled dough and rolling. Wolfe designed the cooker. The fourth man built the canning line. Management kept raising the speed. 300 cans a minute. Then 500. Then 700. They nearly put him in a hospital. Wolfe left Procter & Gamble after 16 years and wrote The Book of the New Sun. The science fiction writers of America named him Grand Master. Pringles solved every problem a potato chip ever had. Broken, greasy, stale, gone. But in solving those problems, Baur built something that stopped being a chip entirely. The dough replaced the potato, the mold replaced the knife, the formula replaced the ingredient list. And the further the engineering moved from the original, the more precisely it worked. That is the tension at the center of every can. The FDA said it is not a chip. The British courts said it is. 3 billion cans a year say nobody cares. And that might be the most interesting part of the whole story. You now know what is inside. 9 ingredients instead of 3. 42% potato instead of 100. A formula instead of a vegetable. None of that will change what you reach for the next time you are in that aisle. Baur did not build a better potato chip. He built the thing that made you stop needing one. And you did not even notice it happening. 9 ingredients. 42% potato. Not a chip. You will buy it anyway. So will 3 billion other cans this year. That is the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there is something you would like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.